What you're looking for, everybody here on the whole TV.
Lover, don't you want to get down, 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 down? Lover, don't you want to get down, 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 down? Lover, don't you want to get down, 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 down? Lover, don't you want to get down, 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 down?
And I can make you wanna say, I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take a take. I can make you wanna go, never make it out. You never figure it out. Hello, no, no.
Lover, don't you want to get down, 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 down? Lover, don't you want to get down, 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 down?
Said I'm free, y'all. Said I'm free, y'all. Said I'm free, y'all. Yes, I am. Said I'm free, y'all. Said I'm free, y'all. Said I'm free, y'all. Ooh. Yes, I am.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, this is the day the Lord has made, and we're here to rejoice and be glad in it. I'm so excited and so ecstatic that you've tuned in to the Hope TV to get another daily dose of hope. So excited to have you here with us here at Hope TV, where our aim is to present entertaining faith. And so we count it a privilege and an honor and a blessing, really, that you take time out of your busy Fridays to share with us here today at Hope TV. We try to bring inspiration daily and entertaining faith. And so I appreciate you for being a part. It's exciting. It really is that we have a privilege just to exchange in a world that desperately needs hope, that desperately needs inspiration. I count it a joy, really, and an honor that you be tuned in today. And so thank you, everybody who's tuned in, everybody who's tuned in. Blessings to you, and I pray that you're well. Listen, we made it to the last Friday of January already. I mean, man, it seems that we just brought the new year in, and here we already made it to the last Friday. And that's exciting. And I'm thankful to all of you who just been surviving and making it and getting through the difficult moments. And we're here and right on the brink of another month, getting ready to enter into month number 2 of 2022. And certainly that's a privilege and a blessing. So I'm thankful to all of you who've been rolling and rocking with us here at Hope TV. And we're here for Morning Dew and Deeper Dive Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday. Of course, today's Deeper Dive. And so we're going to close this Friday, the last Friday, out with a Deeper Dive. And I want you to drop me a line and let me know the city and the state and the country from whence you're viewing. We take your viewership very, very seriously here. So I want to hear from you. Drop me a line. Y'all go ahead and drop a line. Let me know the city. Let me know the state. Let me know the country. We thank you so very much. Blessings to you, Tina, from Fort Valley, Georgia. Appreciate your viewership and your consistent support. Drop us a line. Let us know the city and state and country. And while you're watching, go ahead and share this link with somebody. Let them know that Hope TV is on the airways, a deeper dive. We're going to go deep this morning, and I'm excited about it. And missed you on last Friday. I was traveling last Friday. I had to go to a conference in Phoenix, Arizona. Shout out to Dr. Terry Mackey and the great people of the Pilgrim Rest Church out in Phoenix, Arizona. I was part of their virtual conference last week, their hybrid Fresh Rain conference. And so couldn't do Deeper Dive last week live because I was on a flight headed to Phoenix. And certainly I thank God for safe travels out to Phoenix, to and from. And so I prefer to do these. So sometimes, it happens, but I'm grateful that I'm back with you this week. And so blessings to everybody who's here. Last week also was my brother's birthday. So shout out to my brother Corey. on his birthday. Blessings to you, Pastor Cecilia Garrett. Honored to have you with us. What a blessing. Good morning to you as well. Appreciate you being a part today, and means a lot. So drop me a line, everybody. Drop me a line. Y'all come on in the room. Come on in the room and get this daily dose of hope. So let me know the city, the state, and the country. Tag a friend. Let them know that we're on live. Let me know when you're in Connecticut. Okay, absolutely. Absolutely. I've been in Connecticut a few times. Bridgeport. I've been to Yale a couple times. So beautiful, beautiful place in Connecticut. Indeed. Y'all drop us a line. Let me know the city, state, country from which you're viewing. Everybody. Drop me a line. Y'all get on the horn. Get on the horn. That's right. A fruitful Friday. I love it. Y'all come on in the room today. Come on in the room and let me know where you're watching from. Y'all come on in this room today. So y'all can come on and get this daily dose of hope with us. We're going to have a great time today. It's going to be a great time of conversation. And it's going to be exciting. So I look forward to y'all coming on in the room and talking to me today. Everybody who's on, those who are watching on all the different formats. YouTube is on as well. So I need everybody to come on in the room. Come on in the room. Facebook, y'all come on in the room as well. And let me know where you're watching from. Let me know where you're watching from. All right. I need everybody to let me know where you're watching from. I want to see you. I want to hear you. All right. Blessings to this cold in Bridgeport. Yeah, it's cold here too. Celeste Burrow, blessings to you from King George, Virginia. Blessings to you. Sean Addison, blessings to you this morning. Blessings, Sean. Appreciate you for being a part today. Daisy Tyler, blessings to you. Good morning, St. Louis, Missouri. Blessings. So we got Fort Valley, Georgia, Bridgeport, Connecticut, St. Louis, Missouri. We got King George, Virginia. And so what a blessing. Everybody who's here today. The gang is coming in. The gang is coming in. Bridgeport, Connecticut, Fort Valley, Georgia, St. Louis, Missouri. The gang is all here. King George, Virginia, Bridgeport. Bridgeport is a nice city. Bridgeport, Virginia. Bridgeport, Connecticut. Bridgeport, Connecticut. Blessings to y'all. So glad y'all are here, and I'm thankful to everybody for being a part. And while I'm on this, I'm gonna let you know that I will be here live tonight. And Tom Lyon from Victorville, California. There he is. Tom is in the room today from Victorville, California. Blessings to you, Tom. Glad to have you with us from Victorville, California, Tom. Thank you for your support. And again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and thank everybody for indulging me last week when I was traveling out to the West Coast to preach in a conference last Friday. So that's why I couldn't be here with you live last Friday. And I missed one day this week. I think one to do because I was in the conference here live too. So I, try to do. I prefer to do these live rather than pre-record them, so I can engage and exchange. But to that end, if you're watching through a platform that will allow you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share, please consider doing so now. Go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, share. Help us get the word out right now. When you subscribe, that blesses us and helps us to leverage the platform to grow even more. Your likes are incredibly valuable to us. They're invaluable, actually, because they help the statistics and analytics, particularly with the algorithms and with our engagements, which actually help us to grow the platform more. And so please hit that like button if you're watching through a platform that will allow you to do that. Your comments are important because they help us with our engagements as well. And also the share button is preeminently important because it helps us to expand the platform. So go ahead and do that. Share it, share it, share it, share it, share it. Everybody share that, share it. Come on in the room. Y'all keep hitting that like button to help us to grow and expand. 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 I'm excited about closing this month out. And listen, Tuesday is going to be February 1st. And so we've survived the first month of the year already. And seemingly we just were entering to 2022. And so we're already in February. And often that's a good sign. Good morning to you, Geneva Stirrup from Orlando, Florida. Trying to give a little more time for people to come in. So we got Bridgeport, Connecticut on here, St. Louis, Missouri, Fort Valley, Georgia. We got Orlando, Florida, Bridgeport, Connecticut, King George, Virginia, Victorville, California, Fort Valley, Georgia, Orlando, Florida. So excited to have everybody here with us. Deborah McKenna, all the way from Decatur, Georgia. Decatur, where's greater? That's right. Come on and represent the deck. DeKalb County, come on and represent. DeKalb, show up, make some noise on Deeper Dive on today. So blessings to you. Blessings to everybody who's representing Georgia. It's exciting to see it expand and see it grow to different space. So blessing to you. All right, I know you. I know a lot of people may not know if we're on or not, but I wanted to go ahead and come on. This is Deeper Dive. This is our normal, regular scheduled time. And of course, I was absent last week. I thank you for indulging me in part of my absence. But of course, I was doing work and on a flight. I headed to Phoenix, Arizona last week. Blessings to you, Tasha. Glad to have you with us. And so I'm glad that you indulged me and hope you've been safe. And it's good to see everybody back here on Deeper Dive. I missed Morning Dew Tuesday doing a conference with the AME Church Growth Conference here that was in Atlanta. I had to do a panel, I had to do a lecture and preach to them. So pardon me again. And so I just prefer to do these lives. All right, coming in through Georgia. Okay, Pastor Garrett, I'm gonna be looking for you when you come through Garrett. We'll be looking for you, and we certainly would love to have you here with us. And we're still working frantically, trying to get the church back positioned so we can have worship in the cathedral real soon and have space to spread out so we can be socially distanced. So we're still working on that, and hopefully, well, thank you, Adrian. I appreciate it. So we're working on it. Spent all day yesterday working through some technical things that have been problematic in the past. So trying to get it together, and we're almost there. We want to get back, of course, with this Omicron variant. The numbers are subsiding slightly, and we'll be able to get back shortly. But we're just gonna have to get back when we have space. We can spread it out. I don't want people to be on top of each other. I'm just real kind of almost claustrophobic now when it comes to this Delta variant. It's almost like you wear a mask that says if you can read this mask, that means you're too close to me. But anyway, y'all pray for me. He's not through with me yet. I just I'm just real kind of funny and finicky about that. So the saints, we want to get kind of be close to you sometimes. So. So we're looking forward to getting back into the cathedral. We're doing incredible work there, and it's going to be amazing. We're almost done with the main things we have to do. They're still working on the AC units, installing them next week, and so hopefully we'll be back in a few weeks when they finish with the AC install. And we got to do the back part of the flooring of the cathedral, of the back hallway, and then we should be in pretty good shape to get back. Still double digits in Florida. Oh my goodness, yeah, our numbers they're not good here. Subsided a little bit, but we're hoping that maybe by March we'll be in a position, but we're still watching it. We want to be positioned. I want to be ready to go back the 1st of February. Of course, that's not going to work, but we're looking maybe to go back in March. But again, we're still watching the numbers, but we can't go back to our atrium. We got to go back in the cathedral when we go back, so we have room to spread out, so people can be 6 feet apart. And so we're doing everything we can to keep people safe. And so we need your prayers. We need your prayers. Pray for us here. Pray for your pastors everywhere. We're trying to make the decision. Some have already gone back and they've done well. And but I've been very, very cautious here. And we did a taping a few weeks ago, back at the end of last year, and a few people ended up with the COVID variant. And so that just like, well, we shut this down for a minute, because 4 or 5 people on the team ended up with COVID, and one person contracted it, brought it to one of our recordings, our productions, and so I just don't like that. I don't like. So pray for us. Thank you, Pastor Gary. I appreciate it. So we can. I don't like that. I don't want to be a super spreader event. So, and people not taking it seriously. Put the mask on. I'm tired of it too. And yeah, somebody said we're gonna all look like raccoons when we take these masks off, perhaps, but at least we'll be some safe and alive raccoons. So if your face is discolored through the mask when We come through it, just go to Florida and sit in the sun all day, right? Yeah, that's right. You can read. If you can read my mask, you're too close. If you can read what's on. That's what I'm going to. I'm gonna write something on this. If you can read this on this mask, you're too close. I'm gonna write it. I'm gonna write it on my mask when we go back. All right. I wore 2 masks on the plane last week. I had gloves on, look like Michael Jackson too. So, but anyway, thank you everybody for everybody. I want to get into our lesson for today. We've been talking about God, and we talked about Thomas Aquinas. Absolutely, you got to wear it properly. People are tired of it, but we're still in the pandemic. It's a lot of things we don't like to do, but you just got to do them, right? All right, just to stay safe. All right, many of us don't like going to the dentist, but you need to do it, right? I don't like, I don't like some of the things I do, and I have to go get my exams now, but you got to do it, right? So it's just a part of it. All right. Um, we talked about proofs of God's existence in our last time sharing, and today we're talking about. I want to talk about the knowing God and the revelation of God, and how can God be known. And so that's going to be our lesson today. It's kind of it piggybacks somewhat on the proofs we talked about. We talked about nature last week. We talked about the cosmological argument, the teleological argument of Aquinas. That's what we talked about. And knowing God through nature. We talked about that. Cosmology. We talked about that. I hope y'all watched that. I know I dealt with it 2 weeks ago. I don't know what they played last week in my absence. But the proofs of God's existence. And we talked about how you can look at nature and cause and effect, causation. Some of you were here. Remember, we talked about that. We went through it. Had a pretty good study on that. So this is almost an addendum to that, but a little different. So it's a pretty heavy study, but it's good. I'm going to try to keep it real simple, but it's a great study. So we're talking about knowledge of God, natural and revealed. And the main question about the knowledge of God that's very important. It's really philosophical too. So this is theology and somewhat philosophy, which was my major, of course, in undergrad, philosophy and religion and philosophy. I want to look at this from how can God be known? How can God be known? The knowledge of God. How do we know God? We talked about how the world and the earth and the constellations show who God is. We dealt with those arguments with the teleological and cosmological arguments. Some of you were with us on that. And so I want to kind of piggyback somewhat off of that. And how can God be known? How can I know God? How can we know God? Naturally and through the revealment. The next slide is, so the question that we have to ask today in light of knowing God, and so many philosophers have given insight on this, and I was too many to name. And here's the first thing. Here's point 1 that's very powerful. How can God be known? That's a deep question. How can God be known? And one of the things I love about the Christian faith is we believe in what's called self-disclosure. That's a term that is unique to theology. That is included in theology relative to God. Many have talked about the self-disclosure of God. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means that God self-discloses. That God self-discloses. That's self-disclosure. What is that? That means that God chooses to be known. That's one of the first things that makes our faith different, is that we believe that God chooses to be known. That's powerful. You may think it's simple, and it is simple, but yet it is complex. That the God of the universe chooses to be known. And so God chooses to be known. And not only does God choose to be known, so God's desire is to be known. God makes the choice to be known. And then once God makes the choice to be known, God makes this choice possible through self-disclosure in nature and human history. Now, it's very important that you get that because we're talking about God. Philippians 3, Paul says, "Oh, that I might know him in the fellowship of his sufferings and the power of his resurrection." God chooses to be known. Now, I want to deal with that because God, the question we got to ask ourselves is, can God be known? Can we know God if God doesn't self-disclose? Pretty heavy. Can we know God if God doesn't make the choice to be known? Now, let me deal with that right quickly. If God doesn't make the choice to be known, you can't know him. If God does not self-disclose, there's no way we can discover God. We could not encounter God unless God make the choice to self-disclose. If God wanted to, it's almost hidden self-disclosure. It's almost I think Blank's Pascal called it the hiddenness of God. So there is a hiddenness of God, while simultaneously there is a self-disclosure. I probably should put that in your notes. So on that one aspect, we got the hiddenness of God. The hiddenness of God. When I was a boy, we used to play hide and seek. Sometimes we call it back home hide and go seek. Y'all remember that game? When you with your friends and somebody's got to put their hands on their eyes and they count to 20 or count to 10. And when they put their hands on their eyes, they count to 10. Then when they finish the line, they'd say, well, when they finish counting, ready or not, here I come. And then what you were supposed to do, you're supposed to go and hide, right? And if they caught you or tagged you, you became it. And you had to be the one to go and count. Hide and seek. We call it hide and go seek. Hide and seek. Hide and go seek, we just call it. God is not the one. Good morning, Maddie from Opelika, Alabama. God is not telling you to close your eyes and I'm going to go running from you to hide from you. That's hiddenness of God. Because if God chose, listen carefully, if God chose to remain hidden, there's nothing you and I can do to know him. Just say something. If God does not choose to self-disclose, God will remain in perpetual hiddenness. I don't care who you are, what you think. Even though I think humanity was created with an inclining to worship God, if the God of the universe decided to stay hidden, remain hidden, there's nothing that you and I could do to know him. I think one of the blessings that we don't think about from a philosophical perspective is we don't think enough about the reality that God chose to self-disclose. That God chose to self-disclose. That God chose to be known. Woo! You ever thought about where we'd be if God didn't make himself known? His presence. So again, I want you to think about the small things and be grateful. The very fact that God self-disclosed is a major blessing. So that's the first way. You can't talk about knowing God or how can God be known without dealing with the reality of self-disclosure. I'm going to come back to that in a moment, but I want to hit that because it's very, very important. Now let's go to point 2. I just got 5 quick things to give you on this. All right? Now, here's a theological word I want to give you. We talked about cosmology last week and teleological last week, cosmological argument. This word I'm giving you today is a pretty common word in philosophy and theology. It's a word that's called epistemology. Epistemology. I want you to add that little $3 word to your vocabulary. Absolutely. Thank you, Adrian. He thought of enough of us to self-disclose to us. That's beautiful, Adrian. Isn't that beautiful? It's really philosophical, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. He thought enough of us to self-disclose to us. Isn't that wonderful? It's just a little thing that we don't think about. We just take even knowing God for granted. But philosophically and theologically, you can't even know God if God didn't self-disclose. Right? The self-disclosure of God. I'm moving to epistemology, but self-disclosure, it does a couple things. It reminds us of the awesomeness of God. How finite we are. Because I think we take just an understanding of God for granted. The fact that God loved us enough to self-disclose. Yeah, it was for one of his silence, you're right. Yeah, well, God wouldn't speak to him. But without God self-disclosing, we don't know him. Right? Now, here's epistemology. It is a theory of knowledge, and it deals with methods, validity, scope. Okay? Epistemology is the investigation of what distinguishes justified belief from opinion. So we're having an epistemological conversation here. For those who believe in God, that's a matter of epistemology, right? In other words, is your thoughts of God, my thoughts of God, are they opinion or are they or is it justified belief? Knowledge, the methods, validity, scope. Epistemology is the investigation of what distinguishes justified belief from opinion. Do you have opinions about God? Or is your belief justified? Is that belief justified? Now, people can have opinions about your belief, but I got reasons. I got a justified belief. Okay? It may not be fact to you, but my justification for believing in God, I got justification for believing in God. If somebody asks you, why do you believe in God? The question I would ask you, would you give them opinion or would you give them a justified belief? How do you justify your belief in God? That's a deep question. If somebody says, do you believe in God? Well, I got an opinion about God. No. How do you justify, say, I know God, God knows me. How do you justify that belief? I'm not saying you have to justify it to others, but I think to yourself, to ourselves, we need to know, why do I believe in God? What is my belief in God? Upon what justification do I base my belief in God? Is it because of church? Is it because this is how I was brought up? I think a lot of people who say they have belief in God is really opinions. Because sometimes opinions don't have to be justified. People just can say people have an opinion of you. There are people who don't like you, never had a conversation. Sometimes people don't like you because they heard somebody else say something. There are people who don't like me who never had a conversation with me and just look at you or heard somebody else and they form their preconceived notions. There are people who watch you that you work, and the people who watch you that think you're arrogant, don't know you the most you're humble. You down earth. They don't know that, but they form opinions without any justification. It's possible to have an opinion of something. You know, there have been people I just didn't like. You know, it's like, why do you don't like them? What have they done to you? There's something about them. There's something in my gut. Well, I think that's not necessarily. I mean, it's one thing to have discernment about somebody, and that makes sense. But discernment should probably make you avoid somebody. But just I don't like them. Something about them is funny, right? That makes sense because that sometimes that's the Holy Spirit. But in other cases, people just don't like you for no reason. No, they can't tell you why. Nothing you done to them. Nothing about you. Just don't like you. That's the opinion. But when you have some beliefs about people that are justified, that's a different level. And as it relates to God, there's a difference between opinions about God and justified belief in God. And so epistemology is the theory that helps us to study the methods, the validity, the scope, and it helps us to decide the difference between justified belief and opinion. So my question to us, to all of us today, from an epistemological perspective is this: do you have more opinions about God? Are you connected with God because of opinion? Or are you connected with God because you have some justified belief? I think that's the conversation that we need to have, that everybody needs to have, that your beliefs in God, you ought to be justified for yourself. This is why I believe in God. I believe in God because of this. I believe in God because of that. You ought to have something that you can discuss. We ought to have that says, this is why I believe in God. So I'm not talking about my opinions. I'm not giving you an opinion. Belief in God should be based upon, praise God, Geneva, praise God. Belief in God should be based upon opinion. Belief in you and I belief in God should be based on some justified belief. You have opinions about God or justified belief in God. And that conversation is called epistemology. That's the noun, epistemology. The verb is epistemological, right? So this is an epistemological conversation. And that's philosophy too. So it's knowledge. So it's epistemology, all right? What is opinion? What is justified belief? I want you to think about that. Am I connected to God that good because I got opinions? So will I live my whole life praying to God based because of opinion? Because here's the thing. I think a lot of us have fallen in love with the idea of God. We believe in the idea of God, but not the reality of God. I talked about that a couple weeks ago. The the opinion of God, the opinion of God is interesting. Justified belief in God is where you get impact. Opinion of God will make you talk about it. Justified belief in God will make you trust Him. Opinion of God can sometimes make you say hallelujah when you get your way. Justified belief in God will make you hold on when you can't see no way. There's a difference between opinion about God and justified belief in God. And that difference, that scope, that range is called epistemology. And so we're having an epistemological conversation today to challenge us all about God. Am I opinionated about God? Or do I have a justified belief in God? I hear you, Geneva, you preaching. I believe in God because I'm a sinner. He died. And said, go ahead and preach on this Friday morning. Help yourself. All right? So this is epistemology. I want y'all to get that word. That's an epistemology. Epistemological conversation. All right? So we talked about number one, self-disclosure. That's it, Tina. Opinion to make you talk about him. Just five beliefs make you trust him. So self-disclosure is the reality that the only way we can know God if God self-discloses. And God did that through nature and human history. So if God doesn't self-disclose, I'm coming back to that in a moment. Two, epistemology. It's the second word I want you to get. How can God be known? Epistemology. And how do we determine the difference between opinion and justified belief? Adrian, that's it. There's a difference between knowing through the intimate personal relationship experience. Y'all on it this morning. Number three. I'm almost done. Number three. I'm gonna let y'all go. Now, this is a little deep. So God self-discloses, which means we can only know God. Bless you, Pastor Garrett. We can only know of God through what's called revelation. Revelation. When God self-discloses, that's called revelation. 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 Every time God self-discloses, that's revelation. When God self-discloses himself, that's revelation. So we can know God through revelation. That's when God reveals God's self. God will reveal God's self through revelation in reliable and specific ways. Revelation. God will reveal himself. Okay? Now here's the problem. Not the problem, but here's a nuance to that. When God gives you revelation, revelation of God doesn't mean that self-revelation of God is total. Pretty heavy now. What does that mean, Dewey Smith? That means that God will give you revelation about God. But the revelation that God gives you about God is a self-revelation that is not total. What does that mean? God will reveal some things about God, but God won't reveal everything about God. Here's the reality. How can God be known? Everything about God can't be known by a mortal, by a human being. As much as we know about God through revelation and self-disclosure, simultaneously there's some things about God we don't know and won't know. Now God can give more revelation, right? Self-disclosure is revelation. Whenever God self-discloses, that's revelation. But it's not total. What does that mean? That means that we will never know all there is to know about God because God doesn't self-disclose everything. Y'all with me? So everything about God is not disclosed. Now, and so I think that's a great point because what that does is it keeps us in a position of humility. Because nobody knows everything there is to know about God. All right? Y'all with me? Y'all with me? So everything about God, we won't know. Okay? God will reveal some things, but God won't reveal everything. All right? I'm going somewhere with this, okay? Y'all with me? God reveals some things of himself and conceal. You got it. You got it, Tina. So self-disclosure, so revelation does not mean self-revelation is total. So don't you ever think that you and I know everything there is. No, because we don't. Let me go number 4 right quick. Put it all together and let y'all go. Hope y'all with me. Y'all walking with me? We're talking about knowing God. Because this keeps you humble. This keeps you humble. When you realize, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm learning, but that's self-disclosure. But self-disclosure is not total disclosure. I like this. This is a good point. I like to highlight. The revelation of God does not abolish the mystery of God. There's a phrase in Latin called the mysterium tremendum, the mystery of God. What does that mean, the mystery of God? So on one hand, we got revelation. On the other hand, we got mystery. We got revelation, we got mystery. We got revealed, we got concealed. In 1 Corinthians 13, I should have put this on your notes. Paul says something like this: we see through a glass darkly. We see through a glass darkly. What does that mean? Paul is saying some things that we can't see. Now, this is the apostle who went to the third heaven and saw stuff was not lawful for him to utter. But he said, behold, we see through a glass darkly. He said we know in part and we prophesy in part. Here's a man who speaks in tongues, who prophesies. He says, but my knowledge is in part. We know in part and we also prophesy in part. So all the stuff that has been revealed to us is still in part. So nobody has total disclosure. Some of us may have seen God and have more experiences with God and have more maturity in God. But the revelation of God does not abolish the mystery of God. And here's where it gets difficult for us. We can shout when there's revelation. Oh, we love when God reveals himself. God shows up. And God makes it clear. But our lives, what we're going through. But the mystery of God can be problematic when you can't figure out what is happening in your life. Or where is God? You're looking for God and you can't, it's like I can't see him. Is God here? Is God? It's the mystery of God sometimes when it keeps us, it can bring pain because we don't understand. There's no clarity. So just because you got revelation does not mean that the mystery, you still got mystery. So we have to simultaneously balance the revelation of God and the mystery of God. It's a mysterium tremendum. That both times that the same God who self-discloses is also the same God who, I want to call that part, Blaise Pascal called it the hiddenness of God. So we have to balance the self-disclosure and hiddenness. Here's what one writer called it, his ways. This is just another way of putting it to you. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. That's talking about the hiddenness. Pentateuch says there are some secret things that belong only to God. That's dealing with the mystery, the revelation. I mean, the mystery, the hiddenness of God. Here's another one. 1,000 years in our sight are but as a day in God's sight. That verse is both revelation and mystery at the same time. Our minds are too small, and too finite, and too fallible to contain the totality of self-disclosure. If God wanted to self-disclose everything to us, he couldn't, because we couldn't handle it. Our humanity couldn't handle. That's what in Isaiah chapter 6, in the year the King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. That's self-disclosure. High and lifted up. That's why Isaiah said, he said, in the year the King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord high, lifted up. I saw the Lord, self-disclosure, high and lifted up. Then he says, and his train filled the temple. I saw him, but I only saw the train. You know, when a woman gets married, she has a long dress, and the back, the part that flows in the back is called the train. That's the imagery there. Isaiah says, I didn't see all of it. I didn't see the whole dress. God just put the train, and the train of his glory filled the temple. I couldn't get it all. Just the train. That's the mystery. So it's really self-disclosure and mystery at the same time. He said, I saw him, that's revelation, but I only saw the train of his glory. I couldn't see all of it. That's mystery. What a beautiful passage. My uncle Uzziah died, and God disclosed himself to me. I saw the Lord for the first time. Self-disclosure. God revealed himself to me when my uncle Uzziah died. But I only could see the train of his glory. I couldn't see all of it. Something about him is still mysterious. God's whole glory couldn't penetrate the temple. The temple itself couldn't contain the totality of his glory. Woo! So even in the house of God, the temple of God, the place where God supposedly resides and inhabits, the temple was too mortal. The temple was too peripheral. The temple was too circumferential to handle the totality of the glory of God. The whole earth is full of his glory, but the whole earth does not contain the magnitude of his glory. That's what the cherubim said in Isaiah. The whole earth is full of his glory. That's it. That's 82. I should have known you on here. So we got mystery and revelation at the same time. It's the mysterium tremendum. That's it. And the mystery, the revelation is something that brings celebration. The mystery can bring frustration. So Isaiah at one time speaks of both revelation and mystery in the same passage. In the year King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. That's revelation. High, lifted up, and his train filled the temple. That's mystery. He reveals himself in tragic and death is up. We can't handle all of it. So God will reveal God's self in specific and reliable ways, but it's never all of it, because we only see in part. We only know in part. We only prophesy in part. And now, and it may be frustrating when God doesn't reveal everything. When we can't put an epistemological gauge on it. It may be frustrating, but in the end, it's a blessing. Because when we allow ourselves to be caught in that balance of mystery and revelation, at the end of it all, it's going to bring by adoration, because we allow God to be God. And do you want a God that you can totally contain? Do you want a God that you can totally understand? Do you want a God that you can totally comprehend? We can't comprehend today from tomorrow. That's something about life we can't comprehend. We can comprehend one day at a time. So if my small pea brain can comprehend everything about God, do you know how small that will make my God? I don't have to understand everything about it. It allows my faith to grow. It allows my trust to foment and be cemented. Because if I understood all about him, then I would be just like him. That's right, Sarah. He wouldn't be God. So as frustrating as the mystery is, the moments when God does not self-disclose. You know, we sing a song. I love this song. We'll understand it better by and by. That gives us, you know, an apocalyptic eschatological hope that when we don't understand, because it's mystery. So that song itself engages mystery. Father alone will know all about it. Father alone will understand why. Cheer up, my brother. Live in the sunshine. We'll understand it by and by. That's the mystery. Even the mystery that's in the Psalms. The mystery that's there. You got it, Tom. The mystery that's there causes the faith. And even in the mystery, we can find solace in some things about God. But here's what I like about that. You know, the question I ask ourselves often is when we get to glory, will we want to understand it? You know, by and by, when the morning comes, all the saints of God together will tell the story of how we'll understand it better by and by. Will we understand everything we face? I'm not sure when we get there, we'll be concerned about understanding back over here. Maybe when we get there, we'll understand why we persevered. But what I do love is the songs don't say him better. We'll understand him. We'll understand. I don't think we'll ever understand him in totality. Him meaning God. Can we understand it? Perhaps. Perhaps. But him, that's mystery. So you got what's called revelation and what Blaise Pascal called the hiddenness of God. It's revelation, it's the mysterium tremendum, it's both. We serve a God of both revelation and mystery. And sometimes we don't know which side of the track God, because the only time we get revelation was when God decides to self-disclose. That means you can be in a relationship or work with somebody and you think it's good, and sometimes revelation is painful. So God will self-disclose, let you know this person ain't no good. And even the severing of that relationship was self-disclosure. It was God revealing himself. God will reveal himself. God will give you revelation about people, about issues. So God showing you a person, who that person is, was really self-disclosure of God. It was revelation. Revelation is not just God popping out the sky and you getting goosebumps. Revelation is God giving you discernment about something. That's revelation. Often God shows you himself by showing you somebody else. If God shows you somebody else for who they are that you didn't know, because here's reality. Let me be honest with you. Let me just be honest with you to make this clear. Human beings are both revelation and mystery. Oh my God, bless you, Pastor Garrett. Can I break that down for you? There are some people that you've been in connection with. They're both revelation and mystery. Human beings got a way of showing you what they want you to know. Some of you have dated or fallen in love with people or been married to people in the past that you didn't know who they really were. That's all what you think about this. Sometimes people can show you a pretense version of who they are. And only through intimacy and time and experience do you realize this is not, you show me what you want me to see, right? So even people can be hidden and not show you who they are. They show you the best version of themselves, but not who they authentically are. Think about it. How many folks you thought loved you and had your back only to discover they was betraying you and lying? Why? Because that person was both revelation and mystery. They were both self-disclosure and hiddenness. Folk can hide from you. Folk can lie to you. And when they do that, they do it for sometimes a not so good purpose. So even people are mysterious and have a hiddenness and won't show you all who they are until you get in business or get too deep. So think about that. So if a person can hide themselves from you, then what you think about God? So God is both revelation and mystery at the same time. If you can't figure people out all the time, what makes you think? I'm saying this to us so we'll be less frustrated with God. Because many of us get frustrated when it comes to the mystery. But it's in that mystery that your faith develops. And it's wonderful, as painful as things can be. There have been times I want to go, why? Where are you? I don't see what you're doing in this. But only until I got on the back end that I realized that God is God. And I'm glad God didn't self-disclose. Because I wouldn't have understood it. Because if God did self-disclose everything, it doesn't mean I will understand it. It's oath for grace to trust you more. So I dealt with self-disclosure, dealt with epistemology, number 3, you got it. God chose to make stuff. Epistemology. Number 3 was, I'm almost finished. Go to the next slide, please. Revelation of God doesn't mean the self. Revelation does not mean the self-disclosure of God is total. Number four, the revelation of God does not abolish the mystery of God. Number 5, I'm almost finished. There's always more of God that we can come to know. All right? So revelation, self-disclosure can be ongoing. Self-disclosure, God can reveal more of God's self. There's more of God that we can know. God can give it in process. It's almost like a class. Once you got to one dimension, it's possible to get to another level. It can be progressive. Self-disclosure of God can be progressive. So it's both self-disclosure, it's both revelation and mystery. Teacher, I learned this. Yeah, always more God we can know. Now, that's another scripture that I love. That speaks of both self-disclosure, of both revelation and mystery. I just sent this to my producer a minute ago while we've been on here, just because I didn't put it. Look at this verse here. I like this verse here. This is Exodus 33. Thank you, producer. You rolling with me. This is Moses talking to God, okay? This is Exodus 33:18. This is my last point. I'm letting y'all go. And Moses said, I beseech thee. Here's Moses talking to God. Show me thy glory. Moses is asking for revelation. Moses is asking for self-disclosure. Show me your glory. Now, I've been walking with you. Show me your glory. You've been talking with the bush. Show me your glory. He said, and I will make all my goodness. Here's what God said. All right. He said, and I will make all my goodness pass before you. This is God. God says, okay, I'm gonna let my goodness pass before you. Self-disclosure, revelation. Right? He says, when you do that, I'm gonna make all your goodness pass before me. This is Moses talking. I'll proclaim the name of the Lord before thee. I'll be gracious to whom I'll be gracious, and will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. Right? And here's what God said. The Lord said he's God speaking. God speaking now. God says, Moses, thou canst not see my face. Moses, I can't show you my face. For there shall no man see me and live. Mystery. Moses wants self-disclosure. Moses wants revelation. God says, look, bro, Moses, if I show you this mystery, I'm going to have to kill you. You can't see, and this is really it's really an anthropomorphism. God is saying, you can't see me at my core, my face. God don't have a face in the Old Testament. But what he's saying to Moses is, you can't see me up close. You can't see me, you can't see the totality of my image. Because nobody can see that. He said, nobody can see me and live. Moses said, you don't know what you're asking for. Because if I disclose this mystery to you, I got to kill you. Because I'm holy. You can't handle it. If I showed you this mystery, your head will explode. Because we're on two different frequencies. Your mind can't handle why folks lie on you. You still trying to figure out how certain people got elected to be president. You don't know why you fell in love with that girl. You don't know why you gave that guy your phone number. You look at yourself and you still wonder why you did certain things yourself. You still look at yourself like, why did I do that? You look at your own life and say, man, how did I get myself in this situation? So Moses, how you think you're going to see my face and understand it, and you can't even understand your own self? How you going to figure me out? And that's some things about yourself are still mysterious. You don't know why you act certain ways. You're trying to figure me out, and you can't even figure your own self out. So I tell you what, you can't see me. So I tell you what I will do though, Moses. The Lord said, behold, there is a place by me. And thou shalt, what I want you to do, go over there, Moses, and stand up on that rock. And when you stand on that rock, Moses, I'm going to have some self-disclosure, some revelation. It shall come to pass, I'm going to self-disclose. I'm going to let my glory pass you by. I'll put you in the cliff of a rock. And I'm going to cover you with my hand while I pass by. So I'm going to go up in that mountain, go up in that rock. I'm going to put my hand over your face and let self-disclosure come by. I'm going to give revelation. But it's going to be revelation and mystery. While I'm passing by, that's my revelation. My hand's going to be over your eyes, that's mystery. It's revelation and mystery at the same time, which is who I am. You want to see me? That's who I am. I'm both revelation and mystery. So I'm going to pass by in totality, in revelation and mystery. I'm coming by. You'll hear me. Cover your face. You can't see me. That's mystery. And I'll cover you with my hand while I pass by. And then I'm going to take my hand away. And thou shalt see my back parts. I'll show you the train like I did Isaiah. That's revelation. But my face shall not be seen. That's mystery. So Moses, I'm going to come by you. But I'm going to cover your face. That's mystery. When my glories pass you by, I'll move my hand. You can see my hinder parts. My back part. I'll let you see the back, the train, like I did Isaiah. The train of my glory fill the temple. But you can't see me in totality. I'll show you enough. And what I show you will be enough that you can depend on. Woo! I'll give you enough that'll help you stay in there and finish strong. I give you enough of me. I'll show you enough to convince you. And I give you enough so you can hold on. I thank God that God has given you enough. He's given you enough experiences so you can trust him. He's given you enough time with him so you can hang on. He's revealed himself in moments when you were low and he brought you out and provided. He didn't show you everything, but he gave you enough. And the enoughness of God is all you need. Not the totality of revelation, but his enoughness. God is a God of both self-disclosure and hiddenness, of revelation and mystery. And when God does reveal, you didn't see everything about him. But when your loved one died and he sustained you and brought you through, he showed you enough. When you lost your job and the company shut down, but you didn't miss not one meal, he didn't show you everything, but he gave you enough. And if all I have is enough self-revelation, self-disclosure, all I have is enough revelation, I can complete my whole journey if I have enough revelation. Bless you from Carthage, Mississippi. And so as we close this month out, how can you know God? Revelation will never be total, because it's always going to involve mystery. And mystery can be frustrating. But thank God for his enoughness. I know enough of him. I've seen enough. I've seen God do enough. Matter of fact, sometimes I tell him, if you never do another thing for me, you've already done and showed me enough to make me trust you for the rest of my days. As much as I want to know more and grow more and see more, if you never show me one more iota of who you are, I've seen enough to know you're reliable. I've seen enough to know I can trust you. I've seen enough to know that you'll take care of me. And I want you to know today, don't let the moments of mystery, when you can't see God or can't feel God or don't understand God, don't let the mysterium tremendum, don't let when you're on the balances of an epistemological moment, don't allow the mystery and the pain of a moment to make you forget the moments that God has self-disclosed. And the innumerable times that God has given you revelation about him, about people, about yourself. So God is both revelation and mystery, self-disclosure, and Blanche Pascal, hiddenness of God. So as we navigate self-disclosure of God and hiddenness of God, somewhere in the middle, you can find peace. I know enough. So old folks say, you can't make me doubt it. I know too much about him. The old folks never said, you can't make me doubt him because I know everything about him. I know too much about him. I got too much revelation to allow the mysteries to make me turn my back on him. You can't make me doubt him. I know too much about him. That's epistemological there. That is the reality. There are mysteries. But the self-revelation and the self-disclosure and the revelation has given me enough that I can handle whatever's mysterious. Ask him for revelation. Moses did. That's it. Know too much about it. He may not show me everything. He won't show me everything, and I'm glad he won't. Because he has to kill me if he does. Because nobody's seen his face and lives, he said. I'm going to show you enough to trust me. I'm going to show you enough to know I got you. I've already looked at your future. So you follow me. Just trust me. Stop trying to see the whole picture because you can't. Stop trying to figure everybody out because you can't. You can't figure your own self out. Lord, I can't tell you the time I looked at myself and said, why did I do that? Why did I do that? How did I get myself in this situation? Right now, I'm looking at myself and I look back over my life and I'm still trying to figure out now, what was I thinking? What is wrong with me? How in the world did I not see it? So you think you're going to know all there is to know about God? Some of us still trying to figure stuff out 20 years later, how you got yourself in that situation. You ain't figured out in 2 decades. You and I can't figure ourselves out. What makes you think you're not going to figure God out? So at this point, God, help me to appreciate. I'm sorry one more time. Help me to appreciate the self-disclosure and the hiddenness, Pascal calls it. The hiddenness of God. Help me to appreciate the train of your glory when I can't see the totality of it. Isaiah says, here am I, send me. Not because he saw the totality, but because he saw the train. Isaiah said, you can send me. I ain't got to see all of you. I saw enough of you. I saw enough of your glory, the train of it, to make me commit the rest of my life in the year King Uzziah died. I saw enough of you to say, hear my son. I saw enough of me, enough of you to risk my life being killed as a prophet. I saw enough of you to commit to my assignment. I ain't got to see you in totality. Just let me see your train. I got enough. Problem with you and I, we let the mystery, we let the hiddenness blind us to the moments of revelation. If you're not new in the faith, some of y'all are watching me, have been with God so many times. God has revealed himself to you so many times. How dare you? How dare you forget about the train of his glory that he's revealed? Because you're mad because you can't get the totality of his glory. So help me appreciate both mystery and revelation. Give me enough. And your enough, the enoughness of revelation of who you are, moments you showed up, moments you reveal yourself, moments you revealed others, moments you revealed things to me, moments you provided, the moments you healed. Should be enough. So I believe in God not because of opinion. Let me get epistemological for a moment. I believe in God because I got enoughness. I've seen the train too many times. Don't need the totality. I've seen the train. I'm not worried about the mysteries unless he want to reveal them. Just keep disclosing what you want me to know. All right, I love y'all. I'll be back tonight for Friday Night Live. I gotta let this go because I'm just getting started. I just gotta quit this one because I was just getting warmed up. I couldn't get to my lesson, and I told you I ain't never stopped this. I ain't never finished the sermon. I just have to quit. This is just my introduction. But anyway, I love y'all. But God is revelation and mystery. Appreciate both of them because it makes him God. As always, I let y'all go. No, I gotta let y'all go. But as always, remember this: if you'll be good to God, our God of revelation and mystery will be good to you. Till next time, peace.
Said I'm free, y'all. Set 'em free, y'all. Set 'em